Okay, so I'm just going to go through the Chapter 3 review for Algebra 2. 1 and 2 are just operations of functions. So number 1, I've got 2x plus 5x cubed plus 7x minus 11x squared minus 3x squared minus x squared. Oh, dang, that kind of sucks. I didn't mean to do that, but that's okay. I am going to, for the purpose of what this problem was supposed to be, the 3x squared and the x squared were not supposed to be the same term, the same type of term. So I'm going to leave it alone and not combine it just to show what this problem was supposed to look like. So I'm just adding and subtracting. So when I add things, no signs are going to change. I can drop my parentheses, 2x plus 5x cubed plus 7x minus 11x squared, and then the minus will affect everything that comes after it. I'm going to subtract this 3x squared, so minus 3x squared, and subtract this negative x squared, which would make it a plus x squared. And now I'm just going to combine my like terms. I have 1 cubic, that's my biggest degree. It is a 5x cubed. My squareds, I have negative 11x squared minus 3x squared plus x squared. Negative 11 minus 3 is negative 14, plus 1 is a negative 13x squared, and then my x's, I have 2x plus 7x, that's 9x. I don't have any other like term. That's as far as I can go. Number 2. 2 is another operations question. It is 8x plus 9y, that quantity squared. This is not 64x squared plus 81y squared. You are not just squaring the 8x and not just squaring the 9y. This is 8x plus 9y times 8x plus 9y. A lot of you guys missed this on that graded assignment. So when I distribute here, 8x times 8x is 64x squared. So it is part of the answer, but it's not all of the answer. 8x times 9y is plus 72xy. My inside terms, 8 times 9 again, 72xy, and 9y times 9y, 81y squared. Now when I combine my like terms, I have 64x squared, and then I have 72xy plus 72xy, that's 144xy, and then plus 81y squared. No more like terms. That's as far as I can go. 3, 4, and 5 are end behavior and maximum number of terms. My end behavior has to do with the degree. So I have 3x plus 1, x minus 2, and x plus 5 squared. If I was to FOIL this out, which I'm not going to do it completely because that's just a waste of time, all I care about is the leading term. I can figure out what the leading term would be by just looking at the first term in each set of parentheses. I have a 3x, I have an x, and then this one would be an x squared. So I end up with 3, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's, x to the 4th. And behavior, I have an even degree polynomial with a positive coefficient. That means up on the left, up on the right. Left and right are x characteristics. So left, when I'm on the left side of my graph, left, x is negative. It's a negative infinity. That looks like a negative 8, but it's a negative infinity. When x is negative, y is going up, going towards positive infinity. Now the other side, the right side of my graph, x is positive. So when x is going towards positive infinity, y is also going up towards positive infinity. And behavior for an even degree polynomial with a positive number out front. Do the same thing with number 4. 4 is a little bit more straightforward. I have y equals negative 8x to the 5th plus 7x to the 4th plus 9x minus 1. I only care about my leading term, negative 8x to the 5th. This is an odd polynomial, odd degree polynomial with a negative coefficient. So I'm going to go up on the left, down on the right. And if you don't know where I'm getting these numbers from or these characteristics from, up, down, left, right, you need to look back at the section 1 notes, video, whatever, and memorize that. That's the only way. So up on the left, again, left is when x is a negative number. Up is when y is a positive. Right, x is a positive number. Down, y is a negative. And behavior. Ooh, I didn't do max number of turns for the first one. I'll go back to that. So since my degree is 5, my turns is 4. 1 less than the degree. So up here, my degree was 3, or degree was 4. My turns are 3. That's how many times this graph can turn around. And number 5. 5, same directions. I have f of x equals negative 2x minus 3, x squared plus 4, and x minus 9. My leading terms come from here, here, and here. Negative 2x times x squared times x. I have a negative 2x to the 1, 2, 3, 4, x to the 4th. Again, even degree polynomial, negative coefficient. So both down. Down on the left, down on the right. Left and right are x characteristics. Down is a y. So when x is on the left, you have a negative number. When y is pointing down, you're going towards a negative number. When x is on the right, I have a positive number. When y is pointing down, I have a negative number. 4 is my degree, means 3 turns. All right, division. 6, 7, 8, 9 are all division. 6 is to use long division. So I've got 8x to the 4th plus 6x squared minus 2x plus 4. And I'm dividing by 2x minus 1 by long division. So I have my 2x minus 1 on the outside. On the inside, I have my 8x to the 4th. There is no cubic, so it needs a 0, just like synthetic, plus 6x squared minus 2x plus 4. Other than that, it's exactly like any other long division problem. So I'm going to ask myself, what do I need to multiply 2x by to become 8x to the 4th? Well, 2 to become 8 needs a 4. X to become x to the 4th would be x cubed. And now I'm going to take that and I'm going to multiply it by the 2x and the minus 1. So I have 2x times 4x cubed. That would be 8x to the 4th. 4x cubed times negative 1 would be a minus 4x cubed. Operation straight down is subtraction. So this is my minus. My minus minus becomes a plus. 8x to the 4th minus 8x to the 4th cancel out. X cubed plus 4x cubed, 4x cubed. Bring down 6x squared. Do it again. What do I need to multiply 2x by to become 4x cubed? 2x to become 4x cubed. I need a 2 for 2 to become 4, and an x squared for x to become x cubed. And now we distribute. 2x times 2x squared times 2x is 4x cubed. 2x squared times negative 1 minus 2x squared. Operation straight down is subtraction. So minus plus minus minus becomes a plus. 4x cubed minus 4x cubed is 0. 6x squared plus 2x squared is 8x squared minus 2x. Same thing. Now I'm going to figure out what do I need to multiply 2x by to become 8x squared. I need a 4. And I need one more x. 4x times 2x gets me an 8x squared. 4x times negative 1 is a minus 4x. Operation straight down is subtraction. Minus and minus minus becomes a plus. 8x squared minus 8x squared is 0. Negative 2x plus 4x is 2x. Bring down, plus 4. One more time, what am I going to multiply 2x by to become 2x? Well, it already is 2x, so I just need a 1. And same process. 1 times 2x is 2x. 1 times negative 1 is a minus 1. Operation straight down is subtraction. So minus and minus minus becomes a plus. 2x minus 2x is 0. 4 times 1 is 5. So it says to write it as quotient plus remainder over divisor. Well, my quotient is the thing on the top. 4x cubed plus 2x squared plus 4x plus 1. My divisor is 2x minus 1, and my remainder is 5. So if I'm going to write it in that format, it is going to look like quotient 4x cubed plus 2x squared plus 4x plus 1 plus my remainder 5 over my divisor 2x minus 1. Final answer. Long division. Number 7. I have 6y squared minus 5y minus 15 divided by 2y plus 3. So the 2y plus 3 is going on the outside. On the inside is 6y squared minus 5y minus 15. Same process as the last question. I've got 2y and 6y squared. What do I need to do to the 2y to get 6y squared? Well, I need to multiply the 2 by a 3 to get to 6, and the y by a y to get to y squared. And we distribute. 3y times 2y, 6y squared. 3y times 3 plus 9y. Operation straight down, subtraction. So minus 6y squared minus 9y. I end up with 6y squared minus 6y squared is 0. Negative 5y minus 9y is 14y. Negative 14y. Bring down the minus 15. Same thing. What do I need to multiply 2y by to get negative 14y? Well, to make 2 become a 14, negative 14, I need to multiply by negative 7. Y is already y. I don't have to do anything there. So negative 7 times 2y is negative 14y. Negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. My operation straight down is subtraction. So my minus becomes a plus. This minus becomes a plus. Negative 14y plus 14y becomes 0. Negative 15 plus 21 is 6. So my quotient is 3y minus 7. My remainder is 6. And my divisor is 2y plus 3. So quotient plus remainder over divisor will be quotient 3y minus 7 plus my remainder 6 over my divisor 2y plus 3. Number 8, divide using synthetic. I have 25x to the 4th plus 4x squared minus 9x divided by 5x plus 1. First, I'm going to figure out what makes the number in my divisor equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract the 1. 5x equals negative 1. Divide by 5. X equals negative 1/5. So negative 1/5 goes in my box. Across the top is whatever makes whatever my coefficients of my expression are. So in front of my 25 is an x to the 4th, right? This is other way. In front of my x to the 4th is a 25. In front of my x cubed, there is not an x cubed, so I'm putting a 0. front of my x squared is a 4. In front of my x is a negative 9. And then I have no constant, so in place of my constant is a 0. Skip a line, draw a line. I'm going to start by bringing down this 25. 25 times negative 1/5. 5 goes into 25 5 times. I have a negative 5. Add straight down. Negative 5 plus 0 is negative 5. Do it again. Negative 5 times negative 1/5 is a positive 1. Put it underneath the 4, add straight down. 1 plus 4 is 5. Do it again. 5 times negative 1/5 is now a negative 1. Put it underneath the negative 9, add straight down. Negative 9 plus negative 1 is negative 10. Last time, times 1/5. Negative 1/5 be a negative 2. That goes underneath my 0, add straight down. I get a remainder of negative 2. This last number is my remainder. This is my constant. This is in front of my x. This is in front of my x squared. This is in front of my x cubed. So I get 25x cubed minus 5x squared plus 5x minus 10, remainder of negative 2. It doesn't say to write it the other way, so I don't have to. You could, but you don't have to. Make sure to put in those 0 placeholders. Next, number 9. I have negative 3x to the 5th plus x squared minus 7x minus 11 divided by x minus 3. First thing is, what goes in my box? Whatever makes x minus 3 equal to 0 goes in my box. It is 3. Across the top of my coefficients. In front of my x to the 5th is a negative 3. In front of my x to the 4th, no x to the 4th, is a 0. In front of my x to the 3rd, there is no x to the 3rd, it's a 0. X squared, 1, x, negative 7, constant, negative 11. Skip a line, draw a line. Bring down your first number. Negative 3. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Add straight down. 0 plus negative 9, negative 9. Negative 9 times 3 is negative 27. Add straight down. Negative 27 times 3. Hold on. Trying to stay with the color scheme here. Negative 27 times 3 is a negative 81. Plus 1 is a negative 80. Times 3 is a negative 240. I don't know why these numbers are so big, but that's okay. Plus negative 7 is a negative 247. Negative 247 times 3 is 741. Plus negative 11 is a negative 752. Remainder, constant, x, x squared, x cubed, x to the 4th. Also, I know I should end up with an x to the 4th because I started with an x to the 5th. I divided out an x, I should get an x to the 4th. So I have negative 3 x to the 4th minus 9x cubed minus 27x squared minus 80x minus 247, remainder of negative 752. All right, number 10. I'm going to draw this graph as fast as I can. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't really see it on mine. Mine is super small. That looks like a maximum. There's a minimum. this is like here. And this last one is like here. So it goes like this, like this, like this, like this, and like this. If I was to guess what these coordinates are, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll make it 4. I think I made it 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. I made it 5. Move it over a little bit. There we go. We'll call it 4.5. Y coordinate 1. This point down here, I'm going to call it -3, -0.5. That y up there, -0.5, 3. This y down here, this is a positive, like 2.5, -10. So, given the following graph, state all maximum, number 10, maximum, minimum values, intervals where the function is increasing, decreasing, and possible degree. So maximums and minimums, maximum are highs, minimums are your lows. So my maximum is going to be my -0.53 and -4.51. My minimums are the low values, -3, -0.5, and 2.5, -10. Increase and decrease, that's going up and going down. Okay, I'm starting on the left and I'm going this way. This is a going up, it is an increase from -infinity until that value, which was -4.5. Again, these are x numbers. Everything is in terms of the x. So from -infinity to -4.5, I go up. And then I go this way, I go down from -4.5 until -3. And then I go back up from -3 until -0.5. And then I go down from -0.5 to 2.5. And then I go up from 2.5 to forever. And my possible degree is based off my turns. I have 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns, 4 turns. My degree is 1 more, so the degree could be a 5. It's number 10. 11 and 12 ask if it is a factor. If something is a factor, that means it has a remainder of 0. So, 11, factor, question mark. That means you divide and look for a remainder of 0. So I have 4x cubed minus 13x plus 12 being divided by x minus 2. Going in the box is whatever makes this 0. It is a 2. Across the top, in front of my x cubed is a 4. In front of my x squared is a 0. I have 0x squared. In front of my x is a -13, and my constant is a 12. Skip a line, draw a line, bring down your first number. 4 times 2 is 8. Add straight down, you get 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus -13 is a 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 12 is 18. Not a factor. Since this is not 0, it's not a factor. Number 12. I have 2x cubed plus x squared minus 2x minus 1 divided by x minus 1. See what makes your divisor equal to 0. X is 1. Put 1 in the box. In front of my x cubed is a 2. In front of my x squared is a 1. In front of my x is a negative 2, and my constant is a negative 1. Skip a line, draw a line, bring down your first number. Bring down the 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 2 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Plus negative 1 is 0. So yes, it is a factor. It also says to find the remaining factors. So my quotient is, this is my constant, this is my x, this is my x squared. 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. I need to factor this if I'm going to find the remaining factors. So factor this by multiplying my outside. 2 times 1 is 2. Factors of 2 that add to 3 are 2 and 1. Now my factors are not x plus 2 and x plus 1. It's because of the 2 out front. Take this 2, divide both of these by 2. If it simplifies, that is your new factor. If it doesn't, the number on the bottom goes into the x. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, x plus 1 is one factor. This one, nothing happens, so the 2 goes up and is in front of the x, and then plus 1. Find the remaining factors. The next bunch, 5, are solving problems. Solving. 13. 6x cubed minus 9x squared plus 8x minus 12 equals 0. I have 4 terms. That means I'm going to use grouping. First group, second group. So 6x cubed minus 9x squared, 8x minus 12. First group, 6x cubed and 9x squared, they have a 3x squared in common. I'll be left with 2x minus 3. Second group, 8x minus 12 has a plus 4 in common. Take that out, I have 2x minus 3. Now, the factor that repeats is one of the factors. The coefficients are the other. Set it equal to 0. Now you take each factor individually and solve for x. So I have 2x minus 3 equals 0, and 3x squared plus 4 equals 0. Here I'm going to add 3 to both sides. 2x equals 3. Divide by 2. X is 3 halves. Over here, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. 3x squared equals negative 4. Divide by the 3. X squared equals negative 4 over 3. Square root. Every time you square root, you need to put plus or minus out front. This one, the I is going to come out. You can leave it as square root of 4/3, or you can square root the 4 and leave the radical on the bottom. I'm okay with either of those answers. Grouping. The next one is number 14. I have 4x cubed minus 32 equals 0. First thing I'm going to do, I have 2 terms. So it's sum and difference of cubes. Because there's a minus sign in between, I know it's a difference of cubes, which is a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. You do need to know that. That needs to be memorized. Now I'm going to recognize that, first of all, 4 is not a perfect cube, and neither is 32, so I'm going to divide out that 4. 4 goes into both of them, and I have x cubed minus 8 equals 0. Now this is a perfect cube. This is x cubed. This is 2 cubed. So A is x, B is 2, and I can just plug them into the other side of that equation. I was given the a cubed minus b cubed part. I'm creating the other. 4 is just going to hang out on the front. And then I'm going to have a minus b. So x minus 2. And then a squared. So x squared plus ab. Put them together. 2x. And then plus b squared. 2 squared plus 4. The first one is always going to be easy to solve. The second one, you're always going to have to do the quadratic formula. So this 4 isn't going to do anything for me. 4 won't be 0, so you can ignore it. But x minus 2, that is 0 when x is 2. And then this one, we're using quadratic formula. So we're going to have to do a little bit of math here. X equals opposite of b. In this case, b is the 2x. So negative 2 plus or minus square root of b squared, 2 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 4, all over 2a, 2 times 1. So I have negative 2 plus or minus square root of 2 squared is 4. 4 times 1 times 4 is 16 with a minus sign in between. 2 times 1 is 2. Keep it going. I have negative 2 plus or minus square root of negative 12 over 2. And this can be simplified. First of all, coming out with the 12 is an I, or with a negative is an I. And I need to simplify that 12. Going into 12 is 2 and 6. 6 is 2 and 3. 12 is 2. I for the negative, square root of 3 over 2. And when I simplify this, I'll just get negative 1 plus or minus I square root of 3. 2 goes into everything. 2, 2, 2, gone. So now I have 3 answers. 1 here, 2 here, 1 plus, 1 minus, which is fitting because I started with an x to the third. Next, I have 3 terms. Number 15, I have 3x to the fourth minus 10x squared minus 8 equals 0. 3 terms, factor like a quadratic. So, multiply my outside together. 3 times negative 8, not 3 minus 8. 3 times negative 8, which is a negative 24. That adds to negative 10. That's going to be negative 12 and 2. I know that it's not 6 and 4 because I'm multiplying to get a negative number, so I need one of each sign. And it's not going to be x minus 12 and x minus 2, or even x squared minus 12 and x squared minus 2 because of this 3 out front. Divide both of these by 3. The negative 12 over 3 simplifies to be negative 4. So this is x squared minus 4 squared because I'm trying to end up with a 4th degree. And then this one, the 3 is going to come to the top, so I'll have 3x squared and then plus 2. Now set each factor equal to 0. X squared minus 4 equals 0. 3x squared plus 2 equals 0. Add 4 to both sides. X squared equals 4, square root. Do not forget to put plus and minus out front. Square root of 4 is 2, but you still need the plus or minus. Subtract the 2. 3x squared equals negative 2. Divide by the 3. X squared equals negative 2/3. Square root. X equals plus or minus because of the square root. I because of the negative. 2/3 stay under. Not a perfect square. I have 4 answers. 1 plus 1 minus here, and 1 plus 1 minus with the radical. Almost there. We got 16, 17, And then the rest of them get a little bit easier. 16 is 3x cubed plus x squared minus 27x minus 9 equals 0. So first thing I'm going to do, I have 4 terms. This means I'm going to group it. First two, last two. 3x cubed plus x squared have an x squared in common. I have 3x plus 1, not plus 0. And then in the negative 27x and minus 9, I need my minuses to turn into pluses. So I'm going to take out a minus 9 and leave myself with x plus 3. Now my two factors, one of them is the one that repeats. That's what they have in common. Oh, wow, that was completely wrong. Took out a 9. I should have 3x plus 1. That was not great. So one of my factors is the 3x plus 1. The other factor is what's left over when you take out the 3x plus 1, which is x squared minus 9. Now, since we're solving, I don't have to factor further. Take each factor, set it equal to 0, and solve for x. First one, I'm going to add 1 to both sides. 3x equals 1. Divide by 3. X is 1/3. Other one is a little bit quicker. Add 9. X squared equals 9. Now don't forget when you square root here, even though it's a perfect square, we still need plus and minus of 3. Again, I have 3 answers now. I started with a cubic. I have 1 here, and I have 2 more here, 1 plus, 1 minus. 17. 17 is 125x to the third plus 27 equals 0. These are both perfect squares. I have 2 terms, or perfect cubes, I'm sorry. It means I'm going to use my cubes formula. It is a cubed plus b cubed equals a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. So I got to figure out what a and b are. What did I cube to get 125? 5. What did I cube to get x cubed? X. What did I cube to get 27? 3. So a is 5x, b is 3. I'm just going to plop them into the right side of that formula. A minus, or a plus b, that is 5x plus 3. And then I have a squared. Square the 5 and the x, you'll end up with 25x squared minus a times b. 5 times 3 is 15x plus b squared. 3 squared is 9. So my two factors. First one is always pretty straightforward. 5x plus 3 equals 0. Subtract the 3. 5x equals negative 3. Divide by 5. X is negative 3/5. Other one, you always have to use quadratic formula. So x equals opposite of b. Opposite of negative 15 is a positive 15. Plus or minus radical b squared. Radical 15 squared. Minus 4 times a, which is 25, times c, which is 9. All over 2a. 2 times 25. I don't have a calculator. Okay, to keep going. I have x equals 15 plus or minus the square root of, I know this is a negative 15 squared, but you get the same thing even if it's positive. Negative 15 squared is a positive 225. And then 4 times 5 times 9 is 4 times 25, I'm sorry, times 9 is a 900. Sign in the middle is a minus. 2 times 25 is 50. I have 15 plus or minus 225 minus 900 is a negative 675 over 50. I got to break down that number. 675 goes into 675 is 5. And 135. What goes into 135? 5. 27. What goes into 27? 3. 9 times and into 9, 3 and 3. So I have a set of 5s and a set of 3s. So I have 15 plus or minus 5 times 3 is 15. Coming out because of the negative is an I. Staying in is a 3. All over 50. Some stuff goes into all of these things. I have 15, 15, and 50. 5 goes into all of them. So I have 3 plus or minus 3i square root of 3 over 10. Solving. All right, solving is done. Number 18. 18 says, which has the same end behavior as what's shown? Select all that apply, and my graph looks like this. Or similar. It didn't actually go through there. I guess I should be more exact for you guys. There we go. So my ends go both up, which means I have an even degree polynomial since they go the same direction and a positive number out front. So I'm looking for that. A leading term is a negative 3x to the 6. Positive is there, not, or even is there, not positive. B, my leading terms would be x squared, and 2x. So I got to look at all of them. When I put them together, I have a 2, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. 2x to the 4th. Even degree, positive number. B is an answer. Check C. Negative 7x cubed is my leading term. Not even, not positive. D, my leading term is an 8x to the 8th. Positive number out front, even degree. B and D both match. I don't know if they actually have similar graphs, I just know the ends go the same way. Number 19. The total number of fans who went to watch professional tennis games from March to December can be modeled by the function f of x equals 90x cubed plus 232x squared plus 1075x plus 3125. This is total number of fans at the game. The number of professional tennis games played from March to December, so this is actual number of games, would be g of x, which is 9x plus 25, where x is the number of months since March. Which of the following correctly describes the average number of fans per game? So fans per game, we're just going to divide them. F of x divided by g of x. So I'm going to have to figure out what goes in my box. I'm going to do synthetic division. This is what I'm dividing by. Essentially, I'm doing 90x cubed plus 232x squared plus 1075x plus 3125 divided by 9x plus 25. What goes in my box is whatever. My screen just turned off. Hold on. Oh. Okay. So I'm going to figure out what goes in my box. What goes in my box is whatever makes this 0. 9x plus 25 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 25. 9x equals negative 25. Divide by 9. X equals negative 25 over 9. Sure, it's a fraction, but that's completely fine. So that's going to go in my box. Across the top is my coefficients. So I have 90. I have 232, I have 1075, and I have 3125. I don't miss any degree, so I don't need to worry about that. Okay, now I'm going to start by bringing down my 90. 90 times negative 25 over 9. Well, 90 goes in, or 9 goes into 90 10 times. 25 times 10 is negative 250. Add straight down. 232 minus 250 is a negative 18. Negative 18 times 25 over 2, negative 25 over 2, or 25 over 9, times negative 18. 18, 9 goes into 18 twice, Negative 25 times negative 2 is a positive 50. Add straight down. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Put down the 2, create the 1. 1 and 1. 1125. 1125. Negative 25 over 9 times 1125. This goes in. 1125 divided by 9 is 125 times negative 25 is a negative 3125. This goes into this 125 times. So now I get 0. It wants to know, which of the following, this used to be multiple choice, now it's not. Which one would be the average number of fans? So obviously I'm going to have a full expression, which is why your remainder is 0. But we're not going to actually get like a number. What was the average number? It's just an expression that represents the average number of fans per game. So 90x squared, negative 18x, 111.25, and then remainder of 0. Number 20. 20 says the area of a rectangle is 3x cubed plus 14x squared minus 23x plus 6. The width is x plus 6. What is the length? Well, first of all, area of a rectangle is width times length, width times height, base times height, whatever you want to call it. If I'm looking for the length, I'm going to divide by w. Area divided by width will be length. So area, 3x squared plus 3x cubed plus 14x squared minus 23x plus 6 divided by my width, x plus 6 will give you my length. I don't think this is a factorable. No, you can't factor this by grouping. So the only option here is to do synthetic. So what makes x plus 6 0? Negative 6. That's what's going to go in my box. And across the top are my coefficients. In front of my x cubed is a 3. X squared is a 14. X is a negative 23. Constant is a 6. Bring down the 3. 3 times negative 6, negative 18. Plus 14, negative 4. Negative 6 times negative 4, 24. Plus negative 23, positive 1. 1 times negative 6, negative 6. Remainder of 0. So remainder is 0, constant is the 1, negative 4 is in front of my x, and in front of my x squared would be a 3. So my length is 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. Number 21. 21 says, what is the value of d? So d equals question mark. That will make the divisor a factor. So remainder will be 0 of the dividend. And I've got 6x to the 4th minus 3x cubed plus 2x plus d. I'm looking for what is d. That will give me a remainder of 0. So I'm going to figure out what goes in my box. First of all, it's whatever makes my divisor 0. So negative 2 is going to go in my box. And then inside on my line is going to be whatever is in front of my number. So in front of my x to the 4th is a 6. X cubed, negative 3. There isn't an x squared, so 0. And then I have 2x, or not my x. 2x will never go in there. 2 is in front of my x. D is my constant. I know one thing for sure. I know that my remainder is 0, so I know this is a 0. No matter what. This is going to help me figure out what D is. But I know my remainder is 0 because it's a factor. So start by bringing down the 6. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Add straight down. Negative 3 times negative 12 is a negative 15. Times negative 2 is a positive 30. Plus 0 is just 30. 30 times negative 2 is negative 60. Plus 50 is a negative 50, or plus 2 is a negative 58. Negative 58 times negative 2 is a positive 116. So I know that D plus 116 will be 0. So D has to be negative 116. '22. The area of your land can be modeled by the equation 9x squared plus 7x minus 2. On the land, there's a triangular garden that has a base of 2x and a height of x plus 4. This is for my triangle. What is an expression for the area of the land without the garden? So land minus garden. So I know the area of my land already. That was given to me. And then I can find the area of my garden, area of my triangle. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So I have 1/2. My base is 2x. My height is x plus 4. So my area of my triangle is, well, 1/2 of 2 is 1. So I have x times x plus 4. And I'm going to distribute this. So x squared plus 4x. This is the area of my triangle. So my land without my garden would be area of my land which is 9x squared plus 7x minus 2, minus my garden, which is the triangle, x squared plus 4x. When I subtract here, 9x squared plus 7x minus 2, I'm going to be subtracting the x squared and subtracting the 4x, and then I combine my like terms. 9x squared minus x squared is 8x squared. 7x minus 4x is 3x. And then I have a minus 2. (23) and 24 are back to operations of functions. 23 says f plus h times g of x. So f is 5x plus 1 plus h, which is x squared minus 3, times g, 2x cubed plus 7x minus 1. So I'm going to combine my like terms here and write it in standard form. So I've got x squared first. It's my only x squared. I only have one x term. It's 5x. And then I have 1 minus 3 is a minus 2. And then multiply it by the 2x cubed plus 7x minus 1. Then it just becomes a big distribution problem. So I have x squared times 2x cubed is 2x to the 5th. I have 2 x's. I got 3 more. I now have 5. X squared times 7x is a 7x cubed. X squared times 1 minus x squared. Move on to my next term. 5 times 2x cubed is 10x to the 4th. 5x, I'm sorry, times 2x cubed is 10x to the 4th. 5x times 7x is 35x squared, and 5x times negative 1 is minus 5x. Last one. Negative 2 times 2x cubed is a minus 4x cubed. Negative 2 times 7x is a minus 14x. And negative 2 times negative 1 is a plus 2. Now I'm just going to combine my like terms. I have 1x to the 5th term, 2x to the 5th. X to the 4th, here's a 10. That's my only one. 10x to the 4th. Cubic, 7x cubed minus 4x cubed, that would be a 3x cubed. Squareds, I have negative x squared plus 35x squared, that's a plus 34x squared. And then I have 5x minus negative 5x and negative 14x would be negative 19x. And then my lonely plus 2 on the outside. or 24 uses the same things. It is g minus f plus h of x. G is 2x cubed minus 7x minus 1 minus f. So I'm going to put f in parentheses because that minus sign is going to affect both of them. And then plus h. H is x squared minus 3. So I don't need the parentheses around the h because I'm adding it. The subtraction is what messes you up. So I have 2x cubed minus 7x minus 1 I'm sorry, this is a plus 7x plus minus 1, and then minus 5x minus 1 plus x squared minus 3. And now we just combine our like terms. We've got 1 cubic, 2x cubed, 1 squared, x squared, 7x minus 5x, 2x, and then minus 1 minus 3 is a minus 4. And my last two are sketching. So 25 says sketch a graph of an odd degree function. So ends go opposite with a negative coefficient. So that means up, left, down, right. Has a max at x equals negative 3 and a min at x equals 2. So I don't know anything else about it. I know at x equals negative 3, 1, 2, 3, I have a high value. I know at x equals 2, 1, 2, I have a low value. I don't tell you what they are, I just tell you that they're there. I know that my n needs to go up on the left and down on the right. And now I can just connect my graph however I want. I can make it as involved or non-involved as I want. I can go all the way down and come back up. There's my maximum. Here's a minimum. There's the end of my arrow. So it doesn't matter, your graph can look completely different from this. You only need to very much make sure that your ends are there, up, left, down, right. I have a maximum and a minimum at the appropriate places. And the last one, number 26. 26, sketch of a graph of an even degree function. So ends are going to go the same way. And this time I give you zeros at negative 5, negative 1, 1, 3, and 5. So I know I'm going to cross through my x-axis at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5, negative 1, and 1. God, again? Starboard turn off again, 1 second. Okay, so I have a 0 at negative 5 and negative 1, and then at positive 1, and then at 2, 3, and then at 4, 5. I know that, and I know my ends go the same way. I don't care what way they go. And they can go up, they can go down. It doesn't say, it just says they have an even degree polynomial. So sure, I'll make them both go up. I cannot cross through my x-axis any more times than those 5 red dots. So like this. Here I'm going to run into a problem, so I just need to go like that. And it can be different. It can be very different, but this is what I choose mine to look like. And we're done.